So we're calling out the
vote people in, and when they become, say, local government chairman, governor, president, anything, the next thing they start telling you is what we saw when we came in, or start blaming the person they took over from. A leader, when you're elected and you're in charge, you're not meant to complain. The job of a leader is not to complain. The job of a leader is not to give excuses. It's for you to solve problems. And if you're aspiring to lead, that is the time you need to study and know what you're going to do. So if there's an example anywhere globally, you go there and learn. Today.
Okay, so that was Peter Obi saying these days you elect a lot of governors, governors, presidents and the likes, House of Reps member, and when they get into office, that is when they realize that what they envisaged is not what they are seeing when they get into office, and then they start giving excuses. According to him, you are there to actually find the solution for your people and not to give excuses. No matter the resources, no matter what you find there, you should be able to work around it.
All right, we're looking at a couple of headlines this morning. We'll be joined by El-Rufai in just a moment, but we'll cut across different newspaper, headlines, from Punch to Vanguard to Daily Trust to, cut across all the newspaper platforms just so we can bring you the headlines this morning.
And of course, talking about the headlines, we'll flip through a page of Punch, but before that, remember to subscribe to our YouTube page. Just yesterday, moments after Getsi and I stepped out of the studio, we crossed the 1,000 subscribers mark.
Yes.
So I guess when we are joined by Rufai Oseni, we'll take our time to celebrate that. And as I said earlier, possibly get Rufai Oseni to sing one of his songs. For us, he does that a lot. I don't know. Maybe he's going to sing one of his unique songs this morning in celebration of our 1,000 subscribers mark. And of course, let's talk about the headlines for today and the newspapers that we'll be checking out. So many key stories on the Punch, on Daily Sun this morning. And if you have a copy of the Punch newspaper, you would definitely see the lead story on the Punch saying governors tackle Akpabio, deny receiving federal government 1 trillion naira lifeline. And a part of the headline also says NGF says 1 trillion naira windfall untrue. Lagos, Osun, Benue, Katsina, Zamfara deny receiving 30 billion naira each. And also the deck says food truck looted in Niger. Police warn against a Kitty rally. Lagos, Ogun rollout relief. So this is the lead story on the Punch newspaper this morning. And of course, there is a similar headline still talking about the palliative and the governors coming for Godswill Akpabio, the Senate president. On the Sun newspaper this morning, the lead story says food crisis, 30 billion naira to governors. You lied, Makinde tells Akpabio. Similar headline still on the Vanguard saying federal government did not give states 30 billion naira each. Makinde replies Akpabio. So these are some of the top stories across several newspaper platforms this morning. But let me flesh out part of the headlines before we get through to Rufai. The governors on Thursday denied a claim by Senate President Godswill Akpabio that the federal government disbursed 1.08 trillion naira to states to address the food crisis in the country. And during the inauguration of the renovated Central Mosque in the Iseyin area of Oyo State on Thursday, the state governor Seyi Makinde said, as the vice chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, he could attest to the fact that state governors did not receive 30 billion naira each, as claimed by the Senate president. And also officials of Lagos, Zamfara, Benue, Osun, Katsina and Enugu states also told reporters that that their state governments did not receive this sum as widely claimed by the Senate president. Now the question is, who should we believe? Makinde actually, seriously, he made a very lambasted the Senate president yesterday in his remark talking about this, and he actually said that that he had been doing everything to caution the effect of the economic hardship on his people, and he actually warned that leaders should instill confidence and hope in the citizenry in this trying time rather than playing blame games. In other words, he's trying to say Akpabio is trying to shift the bulk of the economic crisis to governors,
yes,
rather than accepting responsibility or even allowing the executive in the person of the president.
You also have to look at a lot of things. Is it that the Senate president didn't have the right information before going ahead on national television to say, oh, we've given the governors these amount of monies and they're yet to disburse it, right? Pushing the blame to the governors? Or is it that he didn't have the right information, or they've disbursed it and Sheyi Makinde, governor of Oyo State, is lying? So at this point in time, who is lying? Is there a little bit of miscommunication there within the different individuals who are involved in this particular 30 billion naira palliative to each governor? Also, because it's from the FIRS, is it that the FIRS as well has not started disbursing? Did they give permission? The way government work is, they'll give a circular, give a memo, and then every other person would attest to that memo, then disbursement will start. So is it a case of the money is trekking from Niger State to Abuja? What exactly is going on with all that? Those are the questions that we have concerning that particular story this morning. And Akpabio had already gone to challenge the governors and saying that we believe that every state government should utilize the funds that were received towards ensuring that food is available in the country. So the state governments have a lot to do. They're closer to the people, and I do not want to mention local government because most of the local governments are controlled by the state governors. Well, what about the senators then? What about the senators, Simeon Sunday? Because you have allocations for different constituent projects. You have allocations. So why can't you use those allocations for helping the poor to breathe at this point in time? What are you using the monies for? As senators, House of Reps, what are you using the allocations for your federal constituents? What are you using them to do?
Constituency projects. That's what they are using it for.
Imaginary constituency projects,
like the one that we saw in the southeastern part of the country, where a particular lawmaker built what seemed like a restaurant and called it a tech hub for people in the state. And of course, Nigerians lampooned him on social media. I don't want to mention the name of the lawmaker right now, but when you see some of this, you get to ask yourself questions. Talking about Akpabio, now that state governors are saying they've not given them this amount of money, it is necessary at this point. It is necessary that we see some form of synergy amongst the levels of government. That's especially now judiciary out of it, because it seems like we only see judiciary. Okay, we have El-Rufai on the line. Good morning.
Morning, how are you? Congratulations to the over 1,000 followers on YouTube. Thank you all. Thank you, abuja. Thank you all.
Thank you. We're excited. Anyway, before we get to the headline, I told them that these days you are fond of singing. Maybe you are going to sing a song for us. A congratulatory song for us.
Yeah, congratulations for us. I'm so excited. So very excited. It's a testament to the fact that when you do hard work, you need to do more work. So the work has just started. We can't rest in our hearts. We just keep pushing. Good job, guys. Good job.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right, Mr. El-Rufai, let's start with the this issue of the palliative.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us, Mr. El-Rufai?
Hello?
Wow.
Okay, I think we'll try to reconnect with him. I don't know what is wrong with the network in Lagos. I don't know if it's raining in Lagos today as well. But let's try to reach out to him. But feel free to subscribe to our YouTube page. We just hit the 1,000 mark. And remember, you can actually add to the number and join our social media community right here at Voice of the People. On YouTube, it is Voice of the People Abuja, Voice of the People. Go there, subscribe. You can actually check our archive and watch our previous editions.
Hello, Mr.
So you
Rufai.
say,
Can you hear us?
yeah, yeah, I can hear you guys.
All right. So we're starting with the palliative palaver. I mean, Mr. Makinde has come out to tackle Akpabio, saying that governors have not received any 30 billion naira that he claims was disbursed to different governors at this point in time.
I'm very happy about what Makinde has done. To set Akpabio straight. But this was the same Akpabio that him and his fellow lawmakers were sharing prayers in their email addresses. So they got money. They didn't want to buy their cars, but the government didn't get money. And it goes back to promises. So that means the July promise that President Tinubu made that 225 metric tons of 1,000 tons of grains were going to come out for the people and all of that. All of those things were not achieved because it was part of those things he made the promise of the 30 billion, which was supposed to be partly for cultivation too, of all of these grains across the country. So it speaks volumes. And that's why when Akpabio insulted us by saying we, the protesting hungry people of Nigeria, were sponsored to protest, I think we God forgive him. And that's why you heard what's it called, intellectual luminary Professor Patterson said yesterday. Patterson's words, not mine. He said Akpabio should shut up. That's what he said. Because if you can't solve the problem, then don't complicate it with your insensitive, dirty talk. Alright? I'm happy Sheyi Makinde to have told him. Nobody give us any 30 billion, so shut it.
Okay, the problem, I do not know what it is with Gospel Akpabio. Recently he has been faced with a lot of backlash for every statement he has made. Talking about Emefiele, talking about protesters, and now talking about 1 trillion naira. That is 30 billion distributed to every governor. At this point, you get to ask yourself, is he really even helping the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or is he even putting him more in the abyss for Nigerians to actually criticize this administration?
I'd recommend you go and read Shegladini's article on Gospel Akpabio. I mean, you'll hear more of that. So, but people have posted that he's always been like that. So, I mean, helping the administration or not, that's their own cup of tea without sugar. All I'm just saying is that people should be more sensitive to the plight of suffering people of Nigeria. That's my priority. I don't care for politicians, I care for Nigeria, more Nigerians that are suffering. That's what matters. And when people are suffering, at least your word should be soothing, not very insensitive. If you want to learn from his counterpart, the Speaker of the House of Reps, that said very soothing words understanding the challenges Nigerians are facing. So.
All right, Mr. Rufai, we're seeing youths that have hijacked foodstuff in Niger, and we're also seeing Borno residents threatening to join the insurgents in the area. I mean, the rising cost of living at this point in time is a major cause for concern. We're seeing different individuals, especially in the government, coming to tell Nigerians that don't worry, this is just a little problem that will be solved at some point. They keep trying to placate Nigerians and telling them these stories, but it doesn't seem as though anything substantial has been done. Anything substantial, bless you, anything substantial has been done to help this issue of the rising cost of living.
I think what they should do is create solutions. Stop the placating of ideas. Just create solutions for people. People want solutions. When you create it, they'll create. I mean, you can't just keep saying it's going to be fine, but never do anything to solve the problems and challenges that people are facing. So, what's going to be fine when things are not fine? And that's why you see that people are running around for food, and the Niger incident that a truck stops, and people just get on it and try to get food from it. I mean, there's a lot of problems happening. But it's also the fact that government has not shown itself that it could be trusted over years. I mean, apparently it's now being revealed that all the promises President Tinubu made in July last year has not been fulfilled. Those metric tons of food were not released. Because if they were released, what impact did it make on the market? So we need to scrutinize government because they've given us no option as we have trust in them.
True.
Mr. Rufai, this threat made by residents in Borno State that they are threatening to join the insurgents, shouldn't the government be concerned about it? Not necessarily worried, but they should put an eye on it, because we know that when there's hunger, individuals, do unscrupulous things.
So I would like to tell the residents, please, joining the insurgents will not solve any problem. Please, you can't add fire on the heather to fire we have. Do not do that. But the government too should set up their intelligence mechanism in place to be able to meet any violence in the board. Please.
Okay, we know it's almost time for you to go, but please let's talk about the PDP primaries. That happened in Edo State yesterday. Because
so let's talk about drama in Edo in general, because the PDP primaries, two people emerged. There was a court case before trying to stop the primaries and that delegate.
Yes,
but that was stopped in court because the justice said that they should go and bring all the parties, so they just want to grant the ex parte, and I think that was a good one by the justice by not granting them the ex parte. And Philip Shuaibu had his own parallel primary. But the Labour Party, I think they are going to be having theirs today. I have some credible source because I called Arabambi, another factional person in the Labour Party, and he was telling me that their faction too is going to have their own primaries in Edo. So we're going to have multiple factions having different candidates. So all the three political parties, we don't have updates of the APC's what they call process yesterday, but all the three political parties had multiple factional emergence after that their primaries, and it's a sad scale for our democracy. Internal democracy is a big problem in Nigeria, and it's just a sad one that politicians keep playing with the hearts of Nigerians and they keep breaking our hearts. And on that note, I'll have to thank you guys so much, and thank you all our listeners in Abuja for the follow, and thank you for the listening. And thank you for all of those. We're 1,006 strong on YouTube, and we keep growing by the ranks. Abuja, bless you guys so much. We appreciate all of you. Thank you. We couldn't have done it without you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rufai.
And thank you, Gessie. You guys hold it out every morning and give Abuja something to come on and the North in general, something to clamour for with objective analysis. So thank you all to us. This is all our victory together. We all like it and we celebrate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Rufai. Have fun this weekend on our expense.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll give you on Monday.
No problem.
We'll send it to your email.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a lovely weekend.
Okay, this is still a front page review right here on Voice of the People. 54 minutes gone past 7 o'clock. We just had I wish we had more time, to dig into so
because there are lots of headlines.
A lot of headlines, especially with the drama going on in Edo State. But we'll continue our conversation with Larry Oguegu in a bit. Feel free to subscribe. Yes.
Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Is at Voice of the People Abuja. Join us live on YouTube, Voice of the People Abuja. Leave a comment. Next week we'll be starting a segment where someone with the most comments gets to come live in the studio and advertise their business on this platform. So we'll tell you all of that on Monday, but do make sure that you're keeping it locked right here on Voice of the People. Also, you can call into the studio
via the number 0700 01 961 961 0700 010 961 961. Stay with us.
Today's sun is so hot though.
So what are you waiting for? Get the authentic taste of creamy cold berry ice cream. To order online from Gariki, call 090-8831-5907. Guarimpa 090-8831-5909. Lugbe 090-8845-3416.
Enjoy authentic cold berry ice cream. Please listen to this announcement. The Oginda Homes is offering premium land for sale at affordable prices. Locations are Piakasa going for 1 million naira, deposit for 500 square meters. Idu behind Army Estate, 1 million naira deposit for 500 square meters. Guzape 2 extension, 5 million naira deposit for 500 square meters. Asoko Road 2, 15 million naira deposit for 500 square meters. Kiami, 10 million naira deposit for 500 square meters. For inquiries and more, contact 0706 770 1272, 076 770 1272. Thank you.
A new traveling to Lagos and desire a perfect getaway?
Look no further than the luxurious accommodations at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, number 42 Murtala Mohammed International Road, Lagos.
Relax and unwind in our beautiful appointed rooms, featuring all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay.
Now, whether you are traveling for business or pleasure, our attentive staff is here to ensure that your every need is met. We also offer complimentary pickup and drop from the Lagos airport.
Why not take advantage of our state-of-the-art fitness center, outdoor pool, and enjoy a delicious meal at our on-site restaurant?
With stunning views, world-class service, and a prime location, Airport Golden Tulip Hotel is the perfect choice for your next vacation or business trip.
So why wait? Book your stay today and experience ultimate in comfort and luxury at Airport Golden Tulip Hotel.
For bookings and reservations, please call 0815-8003-333 or 0815-7003-333. You can visit our website at airportgoldentuliphotel.com.
Airport Golden Tulip Hotel, where luxury meets comfort.
Believe me.
Are you aware that Iruka Online Limited installed and designed a 100,000 capacity church building? Oh yeah, we are the sole distributors of global leading brands all over the world, such as Wafday Line Array, speakers and digital amplifiers, Preseno's digital mixers and studio equipment, Coswell workstations and keyboards, Fender guitars, Mapex drums, Ashdown bass combos, just to mention but a few. We offer flexible payment plan handled by our financial department with 24/7 customer care support system. You can visit our website on www.iruka.com to avoid buying fake products. You can also visit our showroom at number 36 Lagos International Airport Road beside Golden Tulip Hotel. Iruka, never settle for less.
We have been serving you hot and fresh content on radio, and you have been loving it. Now we're taking it further. Catch us live on YouTube at BOP TV for all the juicy content you can't resist. Talk shows, exclusive interviews, news, lifestyle, and more. It's all about you. BOP TV, show up, speak up.
BOP 96.1 FM.
You're welcome back. This is still your Frontpage review right here on Voice of the People 96.1 FM. If you're just tuning in, you're welcome to the show. You've missed quite a bit. We had a conversation with El-Rufai earlier from 7:30 right down to 8 o'clock. Make sure that you join us 7:15 sharp, because we have segments there where we check out some of the trending sound bites going on, in the news, and then 7:30 sharp we're joined by Rufai, and right now we'll be joined by Mr. Larry Oguego. We're trying as much as we can to do as much justice to all of the headlines today. Good morning to you, Mr. Larry, and welcome.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
We're doing well. We're doing fine this morning.
Great to have you this morning. Welcome to the show.
It's my pleasure. See you on Sunday.
Okay, so let's get started this morning. We talked about lots. Some of the headlines we thought with Rufai, we don't want to replicate it and talk about it. But let's talk about Lagos State. Yesterday, Babajide Sanwo-Olu had, a fire media chat with some select press platforms or news platforms across the country, and of course he touched on so many things. So I'll just talk about it quickly and get to hear your thoughts on that particular one. So apparently, according to this development with Sanwo-Olu, he has announced some palliative. Basically, I'll just list some of them: 25% slash in transport fare. And of course, civil servants level 1 to 14 can now work from home for 2 days and 3 days physically at work. And also he has started what they call the soup pot. And what the soup pot is giving paying some mama puts, what we call buka, in this client, so they can actually feed at least 1,000 to 1,500 persons per day across all the local government areas in the state. So looking at this development, and of course he has actually said for women who are pregnant, free labor delivery without payment for you at the state hospital. Looking at this development, is this laudable? Should we have expected more from Sanwo-Olu?
I think it's a step in the right direction. However, let me explain clearly. First of all, I've mentioned before now that we should look at the possibility of reducing the cost of living for the people, especially civil servants whose salaries are fixed when inflation is on rampage. That is very important. And how do you do that? You ensure that they have access to healthcare, access to housing, and the things that take the money that you pay them. For instance, education, healthcare, housing. When I was young and in school, my dad was a civil servant. He was training several persons, including kids that were not his own in school, because school was almost free. At some point, I had 4 persons in the university. I didn't have to do corruption because university education was very affordable. So they should make life affordable. And when you talk about 25% as palliative, as a temporary measure, as something you are just doing for the person to get by for this season, what happens after this season? These are fundamental questions. On the other hand, the Buka concept is what I call a cheap or poor modification of the soup kitchen or food bank. One of the things I recommended on some other station is that we should have at this time proper food banks spread across the nation, especially targeting vulnerable persons. When you say you are doing the Buka thing, it's also a very dangerous copy of the school feeding program. These families already cook their own food. There is nothing wrong with giving them food like the soup kitchen, but the way Nigeria functions, it may be better to have a well-conceived food bank. We know the most vulnerable, the poorest or the poor in our communities. When we have a food bank, they can do the give us this day our daily bread concept, or give us this week our weekly bread. So they go to the food bank and collect rations for the day or the week. And it's something that can be relatively easily done, because if you look at the faith-based organizations, the churches and the mosques, and you look at the community leaders and the honest civil society folks, they can tell you the poorest or the poor. Even if you mobilize people, they know that this person is vulnerable, this person can barely eat, that person is vulnerable. When you approach it from the position of that we cannot take food away from these people. In other words, when we approach it from a social responsibility and a moral responsibility perspective, you'll be surprised that some people say, no, I'm getting by, let's give that person. But we are not mobilizing people to help themselves and help the nation. So I think the Buka thing, while it's a good idea, I hope it's not driven by personal gain, because I've noticed something. I will say this, Simeon Sunday, and it's a very, very important point to me. Most of the proposals our governors and presidents and commissioners and ministers get in Nigeria are driven by personal gain. So I want to do business to benefit, and I write a proposal to His Excellency so that we'll have a Buka, because I want to establish Bukas and make money. We are not most of the time moved by compassion, moved by social responsibility. We should be thinking of if we are doing food soup kitchen, where do we put them? And 1,500 is like a spoon in an ocean in Lagos. Let's be sincere. Which 1,500 are you going to feed in Lagos, really? If we are going to have a soup kitchen, it should be properly structured, and it should be located in places where you have the most vulnerable. But better still, I think we should have a food bank. A food bank is easier to manage, and we are not just giving the person maybe EBA and a wedu soup. You are giving the person a small pack that will last for a week, a pack of beans, rice, this, and that will also give us an opportunity to begin to move our people back to our local food. One of the reasons we have a problem in this country is that we all gravitated to rice. Rice actually is not local to Nigeria. We were eating food before rice came. Our forefathers were eating food. Even as young people, when go and ask the elders, they will tell you that rice was a Sunday medicine. It was a Sunday food. Some families used to eat rice only on Christmas Day. So now we are importing rice with all our money. So where is plantain? Where is beans? Where is potato? We have local grains that we used to eat. Now rice is a status symbol. Everybody wants to eat rice every day, and rice is not even that healthy. Ask the experts, they will tell you polished rice is not healthy. So we need to begin to rethink these food cycles in several ways. We mustn't eat rice. I don't know why. So when you now begin to say, oh, let's have food back, they'll say we'll buy 1 million bags of rice. Not necessarily. Let's begin to think. I keep saying it. Nigeria must think if Nigeria is going to survive.
All right, let's move on to another story. This one is talking about the Defense Academy warning against coup. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, on yesterday, he described those that are clamoring for coup as enemies of Nigeria, and he's talking about the fact that the military remained resolute to protect democracy and all that. And then he talked about, the Kaduna State attack on the Nigerian Defense Academy. That was in August 2021. And he talked about the fact that the mastermind of that attack has been killed, has been neutralized, even though he didn't go down to, give us every single detail about how that happens. But the point is, right now there's economic hardships, and looking at what exactly is happening in the ECOWAS, a lot of countries going on coups, they've fallen into the hands of military juntas here and there. Some people have been clamoring for military coups here in Nigeria, looking at the state of the economy. What exactly is your take on that?
The problem with military coup is that it's a gamble. While it may look appealing, it's a gamble. You can have a benevolent dictator, but then you can also have a terrible dictator. The benefit of democracy is that at least you can say your bit. In a democracy, I can speak the way I speak. Others can say their bit. In a military dictatorship, we may not be running this program the way we're running it now. And you may say we won't need it because they will be doing well. But then they may not do well, and you can't do anything about it. I mean, this is Nigeria. We've had our fair share of dictators who didn't. In fact, we got to a point in Nigeria where people stopped talking. Everybody shut up and started praying. Prayer for Nigeria was invented in this country under a dictator who didn't want you to say anything. So we now resorted to prayer. That is in church. There was time to pray for Nigeria. We got to that low point where we were just praying. So the democracy is interesting because if we practice democracy well, and that's our biggest problem, we should be able to hire and fire our leaders. That's the singular major dividend of democracy. The dividend of democracy is not infrastructure. It's not all these things we are talking about. The real dividend that distinguishes it from other systems of governance is that you can hire and fire your leaders. It's simple. Now, coming to the issue of agitating for coup d'etat and saying that the military and maybe the political elites are committed to protecting democracy, I don't think they are committed to protecting democracy. If you ask me why, I'll tell you. The simplest way to protect democracy is to give us good governance. QED. If you give us good governance, nobody will be talking about Q. If you give us good governance, if anybody organizes a Q, the people resist the person. If our kids can go to school and we don't have to pay through our noses, if we have 24 hours power supply, even give us even 18, small, like we say in our local palace, we'll get to 24. If our roads are decent, if we don't have to sleep with two eyes closed, not one eye, two eyes, that's if we don't have to sleep with two eyes open, not closed. This time around, you don't close one eye. You actually make sure that the two eyes are open till morning. If the people can give us good governance, if life is good, we will remember the military. The military should be in the barracks. Unfortunately, people are talking about coup d'etat because life is hellish. That is, they are looking for any option. When a man is drowning, he will clutch at straws. At this time, coup d'etat is one of the straws. And if you look at the wind blowing across the West African sub-region, and the fact that a lot of people are saying, oh, life appears to be better for Niger Republic because they just experienced a coup d'etat, that they have shed their neo-colonial toga and they are doing better. You know, the people have a reason to begin to clamor if they don't understand the danger of military dictatorship. Most people don't. But in any case, even those who do, they are asking a simple question. Okay, now we have the democracy. Where has it landed us? So the greatest way and the best way to protect our democratic heritage is to give us good governance. If you're a soldier, ensure that the elections are not rigged. Ensure that the military and the police are not used to compromise our elections. Ensure that you don't pad budget and do all of those things. Ensure that you don't convert insecurity into a business. Then if you are a politician, ensure that you give us the best governance you can give us. If not, God forbid, one day, both the soldier and the politician may be sacked, because if there's a coup d'etat, the first thing that happens is that all the elite soldiers are fired. So I pray that it won't happen. I hope that our leaders will realize that the best way
it doesn't
give
get
us
to that point.
protection is to make sure that they give us good governance. Once they give us good governance, we'll go to bed. We'll remember that the soldiers are there.
Okay, away from that, let's get to talk about this recent reports in Edo State, where we've seen factional PDP factions
being
producing two candidates for their gubernatorial election that will take place in a bit. According to reports, Ighodalo emerges as PDP candidate. Tribal also wins parallel primary. The question is, what is it with Edo State? We've seen so many drama happen with Edo State's politics. First of all, 2 weeks ago, it was APC where 3 candidates emerged as winners. And now we saw the parallel primary where Tribal emerged. And of course, Ighodalo as well emerged as the candidate for the PDP. The Labour Party is to hold theirs as well. And of course, we've heard, according to reports, that different factions will also hold their own primaries as well. What is happening with Nigerian elections and politics?
Or the political parties themselves?
I think we saw this coming now. I mean, we saw it coming. The table was set for this the drama long ago, because if you follow the friction and even the massive hostility between the governor and his deputy, and the fact that one of the things that created this hostility or even made it a do or die affair was that the governor wanted to contest. You'll find out that this was going to happen. So I'm not surprised, and that underscores the value we attach to political offices in Nigeria. And that value is attached to political offices because basically when you become a governor, you become an emperor. You are not just an emperor for the time you are there. Even when you leave office, all your needs are met. I have ex-governors who are my friends, a few of them. And one of them told me clearly while we were talking about this thing, and I was telling him, when is this thing going to stop? Are you aware that one day some of these states will have 10 ex-governors? How are they going to cope? He said, well, I don't know. Maybe by then I won't be around. But he said he doesn't buy anything. As an ex-governor, he has all of his needs met. They buy tissue paper for him. They pay for his security detail. They provide him everything he needs. Yet he gets the jumbo package. He gets the jumbo, and then he gets brand new cars that he doesn't need every 3 years. So you begin to ask yourself, if the stakes are so high, plus the power, the sheer power that is associated with this office, and the glory, and then the money, that is, you are the custodian of the state funds. Because unfortunately, my opinion is that the House of Assembly are just mere rubber stamps. As a matter of fact, they are not rubber stamps now. They are automated stamps, because rubber stamps, you have to carry them up and be running up and down.
Why would you say this? Our legislators now are now
automated stamps.
Are now automated stamps now, no longer, because I remember during
Akpabio. Let me explain. For you to use a rubber stamp, for you to use a rubber stamp, you have to do some work. You have to carry the stamp up and look for the paper and put it. For automated stamp, you just have to get the paper near the stamp. The stamp will suck it in and stamp. So you do little or no work. So both the paper and the stamp will do the work for you. What I'm saying is that the houses of assembly are getting more and more compliant, that they have moved from rubber stamp to automated stamp. If you go to the bank, when they want to stamp your check, they don't look for rubber stamp. They just move it near the machine. The machine will stamp it automatically. And that's where we have placed that. They call it cooperation. Oh, that the legislative arm is not supposed to fight with the executive, that we're here to cooperate. So before the executive makes the demand, in fact, they not only pass the bill, sometimes they pass bills in one day. A governor narrated how he had a conversation with his House of Assembly members, I think it was Zamfara State, and how they passed the bill in one day. That's the Sharia law, I think, how everything was arranged and everybody was on point, and it was done in one day. And you know that is sacrilege. Why is it sacrilege in a democracy? Democracy provides for the lawmaking process where a people will do what we call public hearing. The beauty of democracy is that the House of Assembly or the National Assembly actually gives people the platform to contribute to governance through the representatives and through direct contributions. So if you are trying to pass a bill, you have to bring it to public hearing. Public hearing is the place where Larry Ogwego can come and make his own input directly, where Gizore can come, where Simeon Sunday can come and say, this is what I think, and submit a memo. Now, when you pass a bill in one day, you are denying us that privilege. As a matter of fact, it makes that your law illegal as far as democratic process is concerned, because it's a dictatorship. You imposed it on us. The people who are the custodians of democracy and the beneficiaries of democracy were denied the opportunity to contribute. That's the truth. Unfortunately, we have rubber stamps now, and who is the rubber stamp? The governor. Now, why is the stake so high? Because it appears we have digressed. The stakes are so high because when you look at all of these benefits, the governor practically can do anything he likes and gets away with it. Even when they are convicted for stealing our money, a president will grant them pardon. So you know that you not only have immunity when you are governor, you have political immunity after you leave the office. So when a man is caught stealing a phone, handset, or goats, the man goes to jail. He doesn't get any reprieve from the government. They will keep him there till his house the last time. Sometimes they keep him in court, trying him for stealing a goat, and he will stay in. They'll keep him in court, still keep him awaiting trial men. That is, he will stay there beyond the tenure for the conviction. That is, in other words, if the conviction for the crime is 1 year, the man will be tried for 3 years. After they convict him, then they'll send him home because he has already served more than the tenure. Okay. Then fast forward to a politician who steals 100 billion. They try him quickly, or sometimes slowly. If he's not in detention, they try him slowly. After they try him for 20 years, they convict him. He spends 6 months in jail. The president will let him go home. So why won't people die to become governors? That's the problem.
I totally
in
understand.
a state now, they are trying to capture the economy, the pocket of the state, and become emperors too. And that's why everybody is doing. And
so when you say they are trying to capture, are you referring to the governor of Edo State, Obaseki?
The seats.
Oh, okay. Anyway, are you there?
Mr. Larry. Hello.
I'm here.
All right.
Okay, quickly, let's talk about the role of Godwin Obaseki in what is playing out right now within the structures of the PDP in Edo State. I'm not even talking about other parties. We know that, Obaseki strongly, several occasions, we've seen him not even attend to his vice president, his deputy governor. We've seen him even send the office of the deputy governor, taking it out of, the government house as well. So we've seen all that transpired prior to the PDP primaries. And also, we know that Asue Ighodalo, who actually won, because the election happened at, Igbemudia Stadium in Edo State. And within that, we've seen that Obaseki played a key role in the emergence of Asue Ighodalo. Could this be the main problem why, Shuaibu have decided to go to another venue to carry out a parallel election where he had 300 votes? And Asue Ighodalo did this in the stadium. And had about 577 votes.
The facts are obvious. Shuaibu felt that he will not have the fair competition if he goes to play in the stadium set up by Obaseki. So he decided to set up his own stadium and play there. And this is not the first time it's happening. It has happened several in Anambra State. Multiple primaries have happened in other states.
Hello.
I'm surprised that we talk about INEC all the time, and politicians also lambast INEC. Politicians also say, oh, INEC did this, INEC did that. But I'm surprised that they can't conduct primaries for their own party in one state, and they actually call out INEC for not being able to conduct the elections in the whole country. And I'm worried about it, because it shows you the way we think. The Shuaibu, you won't blame Shuaibu for what he did. Not that it is necessarily right, but you blame the whole political machinery that will allow a governor or any other person for that matter to have overbearing influence on a process that is supposed to be very transparent. As a matter of fact, this is the foundation for democracy, the primaries. Why is it a foundation for democracy and the elections? Because it is during the primaries that the parties will give us candidates, and very often they give us bad candidates across the board because they don't engage in democratic primaries. They give us bad candidates across the board. So it's a matter of head we lose, tail we lose. And that is why we need to begin to address this issue of primaries as much as we address the issue of elections. Because if we have primaries that will throw up good candidates across the board, we'll now be choosing between 3, 4, 10 good candidates. So head we win, tail we win. But what we have now in Nigeria is that most of the time head we lose, tail we lose, because we don't have primaries. They don't look at merit. They don't look at who can deliver. And I'll be honest with you, I was disappointed that with Obaseki's pedigree, that he went as far as he did to embarrass, shame, and emasculate Shuaibu. There are some things I feel gentlemen should not do. That I don't have anything against him personally, but a situation where people are moved out of their offices, they are not provided for, they are short, that is wrong, because the office of deputy governor is an office, it's not a person. I think we should learn to play politics with decency. You are abusing democracy itself and that office, not Shuaibu. You are setting precedents that are very dangerous. Unfortunately, that's where we have found ourselves. And people should understand these details. You don't give tickets. That's one thing I've said consistently. In political parties in Nigeria, they give tickets, they dash tickets to people. But in a proper democracy, you contest for primaries. That is when the campaign starts. You convince us.
Okay. Just before we go, because we're out of time, let's touch on one more headline, quickly, just in less than 3 minutes.
All right. We have ECOWAS, contemplating lifting sanctions on Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. I mean, we saw them, February 15, declaring their plans to establish a confederation, and because Nigeria leads that particular group of ECOWAS, right, it was sort of an embarrassment for the regional body. So seeing as they're going ahead to reconsider all the sanctions placed, what exactly do you think about this?
For me, one of the traits of leadership is to recognize when you have made a mistake and beat a retreat. ECOWAS wielded a big stick, and of course the 3 countries defied the big stick and decided to dare them. ECOWAS forgot that they have limited powers, especially when you are dealing with a cluster of problems. When you are fighting a war, you need to manage how many fronts that you have to deal with at the same time. If you open more fronts than you can handle, you have a problem. So these 3 countries represented 3 different fronts, and now the enemies have decided to merge so that they'll have stronger influence in the geopolitics and in global politics. And apart from that stronger influence, it has become a threat to ECOWAS itself. Because this is a new strategy they put on the table. I mean, nobody ever thought about this. So if they form a confederation, they are becoming allies. Not only that, they are presenting a stronger front that will probably be replicated by other persons who may even have their own successful coup d'etat and join the confederation, or think of some other ways to destabilize ECOWAS. And we are not thinking of the international dimension. We had some peace and quiet globally because the Cold War sort of quieting down the Cold War between Soviet Union and the West. As we speak now, we have a new Cold War. In fact, it's not cold anymore, it's a hot war between Russia and Putin and the West. And some of these things that are happening, you find out that they are working out in the interest of Russia, because at the end of the day, when the West and its allies put pressure on some of these small nations, they will run to Russia. So I think that they should begin to think of reconciliation to the extent that we have our ECOWAS. We should have a strong regional body. We should have a strong regional body to give us economic advantage. Look at EU and what they are doing. They have strong economies individually, but they still came together to have a more powerful force to negotiate with, to do business with. That's what we should be thinking about also in ECOWAS. If we want countries not to have coup d'etat, let us begin to model good leadership in democracy. Let's provide for the people. If not, this madness will continue.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Larry, for joining us this morning. How are you spending your weekend?
This weekend I'm going to do a little reflection. I have a lot of work on my table, so I'm going to try combining work with a little rest. Yes, that's what I'm going to do this weekend. Anyway, the little work and the little rest.
Good one. And we just hope that while you're resting, some of the food that has been seized by customs that they are set to distribute today will get to your hands. Thank you, Mr. Larry. Have a great morning. Thank you.
Large customs.
Okay, we need to go right now. It's 8:27 on the clock. Thank you for being a part of the Front Page Review. It's been an awesome time talking politics, talking the headlines right here on the show. Of course, feel free to join the conversation on YouTube. At 8:30, the Sports Beat crew will be here to bring you around the world of sports. And of course, he's even here. Let me talk about, our
Simeon,
men.
What are you talking about?
Yes, I want to talk about it with him before we go, especially because it has to do with sports. We've seen that so far our men will not be taking part in the 2025 basketball games, and that's because they say there's no money. What is happening with our federation?
On the contrary, as at late last night, there was a press release that was made public by the president of the MBBF that the Tigers will eventually participate. As at this morning, they have touched down at Tunisia to participate.
So they borrowed their money. How did they get the money?
Something came up.
Within less than 12 hours.
Stay tuned on Sport Beats to find out. And it is match day live for the Super Falcons.
All right. You get all the details at 8:30. Thank you so much, Fireboy, Fireboy, for joining us this morning. But hey, Sports Beat is up next.